These new homes in Kansas City are almost gone, and the best part is that both of the ones we'll show you in this video are move-in ready. They're on steep walkout lots with two-story decks, all in a community with scenic views that's almost completely sold out. This one behind us, just wait till you see it. It's got a hearth room and features that we almost never see with new homes. But we've got to get started with house number one. It's the Alexander by Symphony Homes. 4 beds, 3 baths, 3,307 square feet, just under a third acre walkout lot. And it comes in at $883,190. And this is the view as soon as you step inside. There's a straight line of sight front to back, but we are going to turn around. Jordan's excited. He's in the entry. He's right in front of his favorite feature, the French doors.
Yeah, so we've got the nice wide formal entry French doors. They are my favorite. I love the big glass windows in each one. And then you have the transom windows up top. And they did a beautiful job of trimming this foyer out.
Yeah, I really like the paneling on the right-hand side. You've got all enamel paint. One thing you'll see in this house is a lot of crown molding, which we almost never see anymore. But Jordan, one thing I want to touch on, it's not just the French doors, it's also this deep box vault where you see that light fixture.
You do have a deep box vault here. We're going to see that later on in the house as well. Beautiful chandelier and really kind of a unique layout. So you move to your right as soon as you come into the home. You've got double closet doors here. And then you walk into the secondary bedroom / office here in the front. You've got the French doors. This is a really good sized room. They did the accent wall. You've got the crown molding in here as well. And then you've got the casement windows here in the front. I like how they did this bump out. It adds some volume to the room.
Yeah, that gives you a nice little sitting area. We almost never see that in secondary bedrooms. So to see that right here is a big deal. Jordan, we've got a walk-in closet. We almost never see those in the office or secondary bedroom either.
Yep, walk-in closet. Normally we get the double doors, kind of like the closet here in the hallway. And then we do have the full bath right here off the main. You've got your quartz countertop on the vanity. They even did the block trim in here.
I'm a big fan of the block trim. It's nice and traditional, but it's also, you got a hint of modern because of the sharp lines there. I like the countertop and that enamel color. We'll see it in a second. One thing, Jordan, I want to point out is this is all tucked around the corner from the entry. So you get a lot of separation, whether that's an office or a bedroom. It's nice and separated from the main floor.
Yeah, it's very private. And one of the things that we have to point out before we get any further here, the hardwood floors. So these are sight installed real hardwood floors, and they have a variation. You've got 4-inch planks, 3-inch planks, a very, very cool look.
Well, here's one thing I want to add to this, Jordan. These are a satin finish. It feels like matte. It's not those glossy, like old school hardwood floors you'd see in a pre-existing home that's like 50 years old. So really nice touch. But one thing I want to mention, we've toured a couple different plans that have a very similar setup with a staircase. Look at this. We got the wraparound, creates some volume. You got the block trim down there. It really makes the great room feel pretty big.
Yeah, and it kind of showcases the great room a little bit, or it's a little bit of a showpiece part of it. But this great room, super tall ceilings, another deep box vault. And Nick, this light fixture here, highly upgraded, very, very good look. And they did a really good job with all the light fixtures, just tying them in.
Yeah, I want to point out this box vault here. They did the crown molding, but the reason we say it's deep is because usually they're like 1 foot. This appears to be 1.5 feet, which is pretty nice. You do have, Jordan, if you'll point to it, the floor outlet. You actually have 2 of them. It looks like you got one right there. You got another on the side of the staircase. We almost never see builders do that. It costs more. You got to cut through the flooring, but look at all these windows.
Yeah, wall of windows, nice and tall. Get you that beautiful view out the back of the home. They are trimmed out nicely. And then I know if we can swing around here, you've got the fireplace with the built-ins that are recessed into the wall. It's a very nice look. And one thing that Nick pointed to me earlier, this is a quartz solid surface.
It's a quartz, man. It's a quartz surround, which usually we see tile or something like that. So to see the quartz, it blends really nicely with the trimmed casing. But Jordan, you mentioned it. You've got these recessed nooks here on either side of the fireplace for built-ins. That's such a big deal because sometimes, builders will leave dead space above those and it just collects dust and everything like that. So I love to see that.
Yeah, and if you were building this home, you could do the floating shelves, or you could have them install the cabinets, or maybe you just put a piece of artwork in there.
Or you could reach out to us and we could probably negotiate that for you. But Jordan, we got to move to the kitchen. I'm a big fan of this layout. You got some really upgraded appliances, but I know you're a big fan of the two-tone island and then painted surround.
Yes, I am a fan of the two-tone, so I like this lighter stain here, this whitewash oak that they have on the island. Really goes well with the floor. I love how they took the cabinets to the ceiling. You kind of have this gray enamel. Beautiful hood. And Nick, they also, not just a two-tone on the cabinets, they did a two-tone with the countertops. So you've got this leathered, darker countertop on the perimeter, and then the quartz on the island. And then talking about those upgraded appliances, these are cafe appliances. They're white in color. They've got like this brushed bronze
Champagne
bronze.
bronze. So here's the deal. Whenever you pick out different variations of gold, every manufacturer has a slightly different tint. So I believe these are called champagne bronze. We've walked through some homes, Jordan, where they'll have champagne bronze handles, and then they'll have like a champagne bronze faucet, and then the air switch on the island is a different color. I like that they did the black. It eliminates that altogether, but very, very upgraded. We do have, I'm going to point this out real quick. We'll come back to it. We do have the garage entry. I like the positioning, but let's go ahead and show the pantry real quick.
Yeah, so we do have nice size walk-in pantry. I love the glass door with the texture inside of it here. Good size pantry. I'll get out of your way.
Yeah, so soft close doors, drawers all the way around. We have to mention that because I think Jordan's hiding around the corner.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make yourself
It's
small there?
pretty big pantry.
Anyway, the reason we mentioned the soft close is because, Jordan, we've walked through properties up to like 1.7 million where you have soft close drawers, but not doors, and it just drives us nuts. So that's, I think, something that's a necessity anytime you get probably in any new home, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see, but I like the little drop station here.
Yeah, a little drop station or even a little coffee bar, extra coffee bar right off the main. So you do have a boot bench here. They went with the stained top. You've got your cubbies up top and then your coat hooks and then another coat closet.
I like how much space you have under it as well. I think sometimes the cubbies can eliminate some of your storage space, so that's nice to see. But yeah, we do have the double door closet right there. Now, Jordan, if you point to it, we've got low voltage package. They've brought in naturally wired. The security system's already in. So all of the doors, all of the windows are already hooked up. Not all builders will do that. So it's certainly nice to see. And I know we're getting kind of close to the 900s with this home. We're going to explain some of that pricing because there are a lot of exterior features added to this one.
Yes, there are. So moving to the dining room. Really good sized dining room. I love how they have these transom windows up on this wall next to Nick. I know it's kind of a hard view there, making them swing around. You've got the two big picture windows here and really good sized space. One thing I want to point out since Nick's backing up, this island, I think they did this on purpose, is they kept it possibly a little bit shorter than normal instead of bringing it out here. That way to get you more space in the dining area and working around your table. It's a really good thought process.
Now, this is one of the common things you'll see with not just this home, but also house number 2. These are very steep lots. These are like beyond a walkout level grade. So the slope is even more significant here. And that's why we've got 2 decks. So this is deck number 1. Jordan, we gotta mention it, the fireplace in the corner.
So you've got the corner fireplace, dry stack stone. You've got the fortress rail around the sides. They went with the composite decking. You've got your fan. You have recessed lightings. They really covered everything out here other than maybe a screen. You could add a screen if you wanted to.
Now, we do have to call out the elephant in the room and address one important stereotype about the Kansas City area. Obviously, the elephant in the room is we've got a road behind us. There is some level of privacy. I'd love to see some leaves on this, but just wait till we get to house number 2 and you'll see a lot of treetops, just like what we see on the other side of the road here. But we have to bring this up because the common stereotype, especially if you're moving to Kansas City, you're thinking about making the move, common stereotype is it's just a flat piece of land in the middle of the country. But there are some key areas where you will see elevation changes. You will see a little bit more nature. This is one of them. Western Olathe, we're in the community of Forest View. It's almost sold out. We'll break that down more later on in the video. But Jordan, we've got a couple other areas around Kansas City.
Yeah, so not just Western Olathe, but Western Lenexa, Western Shawnee. And then we toured the Palace at a home in the Palisades in Riverside, Missouri. Beautiful cliff sides. You can see downtown Kansas City. And then there's Parkville, Missouri as well.
Parkville, Missouri as well. So that whole list is on the screen for you. We wanted to let you know that this is possible even in Kansas. We do also have a bunch of lakes. It's not just flat land in the middle of the country, but we've got to head to the master bedroom, which, by the way, if you see me limping, it's because I tore my calf muscle. So it's an important one. I almost couldn't walk for 2 weeks. But Jordan, one last thing I want to point out is this separation here between that secondary bedroom / office and the master, that's a big deal because they're both on the same side of the plan. And we've got the hardwood, the site installed hardwoods that carry into here. You got the darker enamel accent on the wall. I like that it's nice and traditional with a little bit of modern flair. You've got the crown molding around, and then you've got the 2 windows. Again, that tree, we're just waiting to see some leaves on that here in the next month or 2. But again, the theme throughout this house, it's been taller ceilings, deep box vaults, and what is this, like 1.5 foot deep?
I think they've all been about 1.5 feet, which is more than we would normally see. And I think it's a good look. It just adds a ton of volume to the room.
It does. I know they spent some money on this fan in the center of the room. You've got the 4 recessed lights as well.
And I love the gold accent in there. It just reminds me of those appliances in the kitchen.
Well, those were champagne bronze, but
well,
I'm not going to.
But they're white, right? The fan's white with gold.
I'll pick some different battles with this video. But coming into the bathroom, one thing that we've gone through a couple homes over the last week or 2, and there's just this growing trend in Kansas City and probably around the country where the tub is not something we always see anymore. It's about a 60-40 split. So I like to see it. I also like to see the quartz threshold back here. You got the frosted decorative glass window there, so no privacy concerns. And then, of course, anytime you upgrade the paint and you do a different color for enamel, which is oil-based paint like this, it costs money because they got to switch the brushes and all of that stuff. So they definitely spent some money there. But water closet, and then very similar to the kitchen, you've got this stained vanity. And Jordan, if you can get a close-up, I love seeing this wood grain. Definitely spent some money on the cabinets there too, because there are sometimes we see some blotchy stains, and that's an indication that they didn't use the highest quality wood. These look really good. And then you got the slim profile mirror there, light fixtures above, and of course the same quartz top we saw on the kitchen island. I'm not going to go back here. I'll get out of your way. But we do have hardwoods, even in the master closet.
Yeah, very nice touch, bringing the hardwoods in here. Tons of built-in shelves. You got multiple layers of hanger racks, and then the built-in mirror with the bench so you can sit down, get your shoes on in the morning. Nice touch.
I skipped it. I completely went right past it. Here, let's take a look at this. You got the Euro door. I like that they've got the matte black clips on there, but you do have a pretty good size shower.
Yeah, I like how they laid the tile vertically. You have the transom window with the decorative glass. You've got the sit-down bench. I love how they did the solid surface top, and then kind of hard to see, but you've got another wand on this side. So super cool design in there.
No, this all wraps around to the laundry room. One nice feature we don't always see. Yes, this is for Micah. Personally, I'd like to see like a quartz or something, but I get it. It's a cost thing. This lot was probably very expensive with all the exterior added features. You do have the sink here, which is a big value add, even though it's just right around the corner from the vanity. It's nice to have this separate, as well as all of the space right here. Yeah, this is a lot more than we typically see in laundry rooms. Now, Jordan, this lower level, there's one very special feature down here. We almost never see it.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for it. I mean, usually it's at price points that are above $1 million. Nick, they've got the high tread carpet in here. You've got this hardwood landing. Love seeing that. I like the design in that carpet as well. But right out the gate, when you get to this lower level.
Hold on. Calf. There's an injury. I'm slower. I'm moving slow today.
I forgot about that.
I threw him off.
As soon as you get down here, 10-foot ceilings. So normally what we see is 9-foot tall ceilings in basements nowadays. And I believe they did 10. I don't know if it's standard with this builder or not. It could be because the lot is so steep, but having this extra height in here just adds a ton of volume to the room. It just makes it feel like a normal level. It doesn't feel like a basement at all.
10-foot ceilings, the difference between 9 and 10 feet is staggering. I know it's hard to see on video, Like this would be probably around 9 feet where the soffit is. But 10 feet, that's a really big deal. Now, Jordan, there's one special built-in around the corner, but before we get to that, you do have luxury vinyl plank flooring. They're a little darker than the lighter white oak stain we saw upstairs, but look at this bar here.
Yeah, beautiful wet bar with a huge peninsula here. You've got like this own granite solid surface top. I love the blue. This is what we saw upstairs in the bathroom.
Fireplace built-ins.
You've got gold hinges, soft close drawers. I love this floating shelf with the glass doors on those built-ins.
What do you think of the hex backsplash?
I like the hex backsplash, and I like how it's darker.
Yeah, I like that they took it all the way up the wall. Now, one thing we almost never see is a built-in like this. I love this. That's the sump pump he just opened right there. But what a clever way to hide it. Instead of having just some useless closet or shelf over there, they made it nice and seamless. You've got this stained bench, and of course, this overlooks a lot of the treetops that you'll see outside. But Jordan, really quickly, it's very rare that we see 2 decks on a property. And that has a lot to do with the price of this home and how deep the lot is.
Yeah, so the vast majority of the time, you're gonna step out here of the lower level onto a concrete patio. Out here, we have another deck, composite decking. You've got the first floor deck above, fortress rail. You could easily screen this in if you wanted to, but I like this lot. What do you think, Nick?
Okay, so it's not just one deck, but it's 2, and these are both bigger than a standard deck we typically see.
Yeah.
They're both composite. They're both upgraded with the fortress rail, and we'll put an example of a home on the screen. Normally, when you have a slope like this, on a daylight lot off the main level, you'll have a deck. But this has such a significant slope, Jordan. We're on the lower level.
Yeah.
And we've got to have the deck because we're that much above grade. At least that's my interpretation. You do have stairs down. You've got a little bit of a landing. And then again, this lot is about 0.29 acres. But nice thing about it is there's quite an easement on the other side of it. So you're not backing up to a neighbor, but you do have the street. And we're going to show you a property here in a second that kind of sidesteps that.
Yeah, and they did keep some of the natural trees as well, which is just, I love seeing that on these homes.
Yeah, the 10-foot ceilings plus 2 decks. I mean, that can add up the price quite a bit. Jordan, I want to spend a little bit of time on pricing for new homes. You could see a home like this built in a different community. It could be at a completely different figure. And a lot of the time it comes down to the lot for 3 reasons.
Yeah, 3 reasons. So the lot, number 1, the lot price, and then the type of lot it is matters tremendously, whether it's a walkout lot, daylight lot, or a flat level lot, because with the walkout lot, you've got all the exterior added features such as the deck, the windows, and the doors. And then the third thing, Nick.
Yeah, the third one is the site cost, which I'm sure here, maybe not this home, but some of the homes in this community, I'm sure there were significant site costs for some of them, whether that was rock or whether that was having a pier because of the very steep slope here. But back to what you said about exterior added features, a deck alone, you could be looking at 10, 15, maybe 20,000. We've got 2 of them here. We've got all the windows. We've got the 10-foot ceilings down here. Yeah. There's a lot of functional value as a result of those exterior added features in this one.
Yeah, especially the composite decking and all that. It just adds up. That stuff lasts pretty much forever. Easy to clean, easy to take care of. First thing, you've got 2 bedrooms down here. You do have a hallway here, create some separation and some privacy. But we'll go to the first one here in the back. You've got the double single hung windows, trimmed out really nice.
Jordan, can we even call this a basement? I typically don't.
I try not to call them basements.
Well, I don't usually fall for this realtor speak of lower level, but this is literally this is a lower. It's not even a base because we're that much above grade here. I mean, right. This doesn't even feel like a basement at all.
Right. So you do have full-on regular size windows like you'd see on a main level of a home. 10-foot ceilings in here just makes this room feel huge. It's already a good sized room. You've got
the closet in the corner.
Closet in the corner, and then Nick, if you swing around, you've got the main bath down here.
So you got that blue, the bar top that's leathered, granite, the slim profile mirror. Then around the corner, I think this is the same tile we saw in the main bathroom upstairs off that secondary bedroom. And then Jordan, we've got one final bedroom, but we've got to cut to house number 2. It is called the New Hampton by Rodrock Homes. 4 beds, 3 baths, 34 square feet. It's on a 0.36 acre walkout lot. It's got a private tree line in the back, and it's priced at $930,000.
Now, compared to house number 1, this house sits up way higher. It feels like you're above the trees. We do have kind of a little valley out here in the backyard. Beautiful views throughout this neighborhood.
And we'll explain the price here in a second, because the cost to build on this lot, I'm sure, were quite a bit more than house number 1. But floor plans on the screen, this is a very unique one. You've got one specific room that we almost never see in homes these days. But Jordan, we got to start at the entry. This one doesn't quite have the French doors, which are Jordan's favorite, so that's why I'm showing this one. But you've got the side lights here, transom window up top, staircases off to the side. What I really want to get to here, and kind of the focal point of the plan, obviously you've got the views out the back. You feel like you're sitting almost above the trees, which you'll see what we mean when we get onto the deck. But Jordan, we got a floor to ceiling stone fireplace with a ton of variation here.
Yeah, I like all the different color, especially the dark color in that stone. I do like the stain in the mantle. We're gonna see that in the kitchen. They also did the floating shelves and the extra wide built-ins that are recessed.
Yeah, just for context, built-ins, they're usually about like right here. So to see them go like double the width of what we normally see is very nice. One other thing is lots of ceiling accents here. So you got the vaulted ceiling with the beam up top. That is continued onto the covered porch outside. Not a big light fixtures guy myself, but I like this one. It looks like it's almost welded together, this iron. I think it goes really well with everything. One other thing before we get to the kitchen dining area is the hardwood, the engineered hardwood floors. So house number 1 had the site installed. These are engineered. I love the color and also the rustic look to them. You've got the exposed knots. I think it goes really well with that stone we saw. But Jordan, barrel vaulted ceiling. What I like about this is you get the separation between the great room and the kitchen. Also the separation between the hearth room. But this kind of brings the kitchen and the dining room together. It makes it kind of all in one, which is nice.
Yeah, extremely unique. We have seen this before at the Lambie over there at Regents Park in Leawood, but very cool. We don't see this very often. I really like what they did with this kitchen. I think they tied it in very well with the living room. You've got the dark countertops, and then you've got the dark stained cabinets as well.
Yeah, the dark countertops might just be the theme today, but gas cooktop, you've got this chevron style backsplash, and then of course hood goes almost all the way up, but stacked microwave oven here. They even managed to fit a beverage fridge right here, which is really nice. We mentioned in the house number 1, house number 1 had the soft close doors, drawers. These are because they're glass. The other doors aren't, but the drawers are. So just keep that in mind. We always like to see that stuff switched out, which can be negotiated. Any questions, reach out to us. But pantry is right around the corner. You've got the countertop space, Jordan.
Yep, I love the built-ins in here. You've got the drawers, you've got the all the shelving and the countertop. I also love where that pantry is situated, right in between the garage entry and right off the kitchen. Just makes it easy. Put all your stuff away when you get home.
Now, I don't think we've seen this before. This is face framed trim. We usually see it in closets, but they did it on the boot bench. And then right around the corner, we've got the full bath that services the main floor. Jordan, the secondary bedroom in here, they carried the hardwood floors in. Kind of a theme of this video, lots of box vaults in this plan as well as house number 1. This isn't quite as deep, but it still gives you a lot of volume. They upgraded the fan there, and then you've got the 2 windows. Now we are going to fast forward to the hearth room. We cut because I'm limping all over the, and you don't need to see that. So hearth room here, we've got the box vault again. We've also got the floor to ceiling stone. This is very similar. It's not identical to what we saw in the great room. One tip is if you're building, what I'd recommend, especially when the stone is right up against the wall here and there's no bump out, put a picture on the screen. This is what some of my clients did, is you put 2 trim pieces on the side, and it really defines everything out. But Jordan, what I like about this plan, this is a really nice, very informal, comfortable kind of gathering space right off the kitchen.
Yeah, it's just an extra space to entertain guests. You know, you could have some people in the great room, you could have a few people here in the hearth room and just enjoying the night. Maybe they're sitting around a fire.
Let me get out from behind this light fixture. One thing that I want to comment on is some of you might have caught it, like the great room, it doesn't feel that big. The vault kind of helps a little bit, But the fact that you have this extra hearth room, I think, really makes up for it and gives you a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more separation, even while you're on the same floor as everyone else. Jordan, composite decking, fortress rail. We've got the vault out here and all of the beam work up there.
I love how they carried the beams out here. It's almost like part of a spoke on a wheel up there. But Nick, it feels like we are 3 levels high.
It does, and that's because we literally are. Look at the neighbor's retaining wall. I don't want to know how much that costs, but look at all that stowed out there. They wanted a flat backyard, and that's exactly what they got. But because this grade is so steep, again, we've got 2 decks on this one. You can see the house next door. They even have a stairs down from the lower level deck. So one thing that we want to touch on is the difference between buying like a home that's under construction, building, versus buying something move-in ready like this. If you don't want to worry about a lot of site costs, a lot of exterior added features, costs that can increase, which we typically see when building a home, that would be one of the big benefits of something move-in ready like this one or house number 1. Jordan, especially in a community like this where the site costs there's always some amount of unpredictability involved.
Yeah, they're always unknown because it's those, once you start digging, you don't know if you're gonna have stable soil or if you're gonna hit rock. And like Nick was saying, when you find a spec home, all those costs, they're already built into the price.
Or hopefully reconciled in the sales price, which that is important to make sure of. But really the big benefit, move-in ready new home versus something under construction or building, the pricing is already locked in. And well, you can't change anything or you can't customize. And that is one of the benefits of building or buying something under construction. You don't have any surprises when it comes to the price. So we did want to mention that because both of these are available. And we will include that info down in the description. But Jordan, we've got to get to the master. So one thing I want to note, we'll put the floor plan on the screen here. Secondary bedroom and the hearth room are on the opposite side of the house. The master occupies its very own wing of the main floor. And Jordan, I forgot to do this off the entry.
Yeah, so you've got your coat closet right off the entry. And then you do have this hallway here, creates separation for the master bedroom and this laundry room here. It's nice and deep, got a lot of space. You've got your shelf up top and your hangers, so you can hang some clothes.
And we've got like our 5th or 6th box vault there.
Yeah, so super tall ceilings with the box vault in the hallway. I just think that's a nice touch.
I do too. So we've got another one in here in the master. This room is just huge. They've upgraded the fan. We don't quite have the recessed lights like we saw in house number 1. So if you're building, that's something that I would keep in mind. The third thing is we have 3 of these single hung windows compared to house number 1. I think we had just 2 of them in there, but this is like a perfect sitting area. You got a lot of space. Jordan, the carpet, it's upgraded. I can feel that thicker pad underneath.
Yeah, it's definitely comfortable. And then we've got French doors leading into that master bath.
He had it. There you go. That was your opportunity in this one. So we mentioned in house number 1, like 40 to 60% of the time, there's a divide between whether you get a tub or whether it's just a shower. This plan, they do have the option to put a shower in here if you build it. This one just has a tub. So I wanted to point that out. But you've got this wall-to-wall vanity, a mid-level tower in the middle, the window, the trimmed out mirror above. And Jordan, one of my favorite things, I would happily sacrifice not having a tub because my dog is terrified of them, for having a 0 entry shower.
Yeah, this is something that we see Rodrock do quite a bit. They do a good job of it. You don't have a lip there, anything you're gonna trip on. And then you've got the bench, you've got the vertically laid tile, very good look, big shower.
It's very deep, and so is the water closet right here. We don't spend a ton of time on those, but we should here in the master closet because Jordan, look at all the space.
It's huge. You got a ton of space. You've got 3 levels of hanger racks over here to the right with the pull downs. They probably, I don't know, you got a little bit of a vault up top. You maybe could have done it on the left side. But Nick, I think it keeps going around the corner, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. You got a little cutout right there around the corner.
Now heading down to the lower level, I gotta point out this high tread designer carpet in the stairwell. It's got a very unique pattern. We don't see that very often. But Nick, this rec room, pretty impressive.
Yeah, you've got quite a bit of space, but what I'm really excited to talk about is this lot. Yes, we've got a second deck again. This lot is even steeper. You've got a retaining wall. You've got stairs down from this lower level deck, which is not something that we've ever said before, despite going through a bunch of communities, a bunch of different homes. Jordan, before we get to all of that, this lower level, it's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in the middle, and then we've got the wet bar over here. I like that you've got the luxury vinyl plank for the bar and the dining room area, 2-tiered bar setup. And then they carried that stain, which I know you're a big fan of down here.
Yeah, I like the stain. They carried it down from the kitchen. Same down here. I like the countertops. I like how they have the built-in wine fridge. But then this bar, the Peninsula, Nick, I love how tall it is. You've got that 2-tiered setup to where you can put those bar stools out here. It's just a nice place to sit down.
Yeah, and you'll notice neither of the Peninsulas that we saw today, neither of them had the sink in the Peninsula. Right? They all had it on the perimeter. So just gives you a little bit of extra space, and that's kind of the trend we're starting to see. But Jordan, I mean, you've got one small step down to this deck. Again, composite decking, you've got the fortress rail, you've got the beautiful view out there. But if we can fit the drone back here, we're gonna show you drone footage of the rear elevation. You've got a retaining wall. You've got a nice little pad where my dog would love to sit because it would make him feel very high up and very big in this backyard. But this is a pretty big lot, Jordan.
Yeah, I like the lot. You know, the steepness, it's maybe not quite as functional, but it's very private, beautiful views. And you were mentioning your dog sitting on that flat spot next to that retaining wall. That'd be a fun spot just to sit out there and hang out.
It would be. And, you know, that's one of the challenges of building on a lot like this, but you do get the added value of feeling like you're up above the trees. And it's just something that you're not going to see all over the place in Kansas City. And that's exactly what's unique about this community. We mentioned a little bit previously in the video, this is Forest View. It's a Rodrock community in Western Olathe. This has been around for about 20 years. They're in the last few phases. They've only got about 14 lots left to choose from. The lot prices, despite having views like this, they come in at around $100,000 to $140,000, which in this area, Kansas City, is a pretty solid price for a lot. On top of that, you've got amenities which are already in. We'll put pictures or footage on the screen right here. You got a pool, playground, volleyball. You've got a basketball court, pickleball courts, trails, and beautiful views throughout the community. During the HOA, it's only $625 a year, which is pretty low.
That is very low to have all those amenities included. You've got pickleball courts, pool, like you said. Most of the time now, I mean, those HOAs are right around $1,000 or more.
Now, before we get to the last 2 bedrooms and bathroom, any questions buying, building a new construction home in Kansas City, feel free to reach out. We tour the best builders, communities, and also floor plans around the metro area. Because if you find these helpful and you do choose to reach out, we want to make sure you've got the best options in front of you, whether it's unique lots like this where you get beautiful views, or you just want to find the right builder, floor plan, lot, or even a home that's completely done where there's no timeline, there's no waiting, and also no hidden expenses. We would love to help manage the costs, make it predictable, make sure you get the best value possible. But Jordan, we've got 2 bedrooms and 1 full bath left.
That's right. We'll go to our right to start. You do have a little bit of a hallway to give you that separation and privacy. Really good sized bedroom. I love how they did the casement window off to the side there. And then you've got your corner closet. Moving on to the hallway bath, really unique. You've got tile all the way to the ceiling, really matches that stairwell carpet. And then bedroom number 2, nice sized room, beautiful views out the back of the home, and then the corner closet.
But that is all for this video. Click right here. It's a video that takes you A through Z, step by step, buying or building on new construction home in Kansas City. Or you can click right here for the video YouTube thinks you would enjoy the most. So click here or there, and we'll see you on the other side.